be live recording my machine in the YouTube app. Doesn't actually start in a while. Pretty sure I'm live already. Just double check. It's down on another device. That's the better way of doing it. Feeling I'm using the raw microphone. So I'm in media broadcast is doing something again. The microphone. Okay, now it's better. NVIDIA broadcast was turned off. I don't know why. Let's try with room echo removal turned off. It's actually better, I think. Let's try this again. I'm pretty sure it's better without it, but I have to keep testing it. Switch device, yes. Yeah, I was trying to stream to my Discord as well, but that didn't work quite as well as I expected. But here's the link to my Discord. Just pop it in here. We're also on Zoom if you want to join live on Zoom. That will be good as well. And we need the share, almost sharing on Twitter. And also on LinkedIn, primarily LinkedIn. That's live. Should be good to go. Just pop. Do we need some music? Might a audio library, because I can't play anything I want. Can only play what the YouTube allows me to. Hopefully that's not too loud. They can still hear me okay. My audio is about double, almost saturated, to make sure it doesn't go into red. Is there an NVIDIA thing to remove this? Just check how it sounds on another device. Okay, maybe the music is too loud. Okay, now it should be okay. Let's remove this effect. I only have the two effects, noise removal and even for noise removal, what happens if I turn it off? Testing. Oh, now I can hear all the rustles and everything, which is not great. I need some noise removal. This should be better. It's still going into something, still going into the microphone. Now it's gone. How about now? Yeah, now the noise, some noise is coming through. Is it birds or something? Must be birds. Just turn the music off for a sec. That's an airplane. Go away now. Yeah, it went away. Yeah, so it sounds like I do need noise removal because, well, we're not in the proper audio booth, but yes, sounds like we also need it in full strength. Yeah, which is okay, maybe not. To minimize the music. Okay, let's get back to the side. Just a side note. Well, everything is a side note to a side note to a side note. We are using the source control, but say those changes are not actually used. To refresh this page, yeah. So earlier today was just quickly go over this. I have this video processing tools. They're actually available on the site, but unlisted, so you would only know about it if you are watching this video. But what it does is earlier version will take a long video and will remove silent bits from it. Just realize playing music doesn't help that, because it will then not remove anything at all. Actually might turn it off as well, because it's annoying me. You can play your own music in the background as well. Yeah, so now for example, if I do not talk for over a certain period of time, this algorithm would kick in and remove silence. And why? That's the notebook, Jupyter notebook, as well as regular Python script, so I don't need that. Yeah, the regular Python script, everything works. I was testing it for quite some time. It's now on my GitHub as well. The Python script should be available. Just choose your MP4 file, and it should remove silent bits from it. Check the link quickly. So if you're on my page, contacts, it should be a new repository. He updated 2 days ago. There's nothing in the README page. We can update that. Essentially, just you can pop it into ChatGPT. It will give you a description of what's what. We might as well do it right now. So it was the previous code. It's removing silent bits. Let's pop it quickly into code interpreter. See what we get. Well, we use code interpreter to generate the code to begin with, so yes, that's the code. That's what it does. Provides a segmenting video. Yeah, so it will take a whole long video and will break it into folders. So for example, some of my videos like 2.5 hours, it will turn it into about 1 hour. So that's removing silent bits. That's apparently how many there are, like more than half. Well, some of the videos. Yeah, so it's processing audio in 1 second chunks. So essentially there is nothing in that 1 second, or the volume is below a certain level, then it will not save that bit. If volume above 0, save it. If it's essentially 0 or less than 0, it will not be saved. So that code is working okay. Yes, you can add air handling and volume thresholds, because currently just checking if the volume is 0 or not. You can actually set a certain threshold. That's why I was checking my noise before. So if I don't use noise in video broadcast, noise cancelling, then you can hear the birds and planes and what's not. But when the noise removal is full strength, between the bits where I talk into the microphone, you should hear total silence. Therefore, this algorithm should work for me. But yes, if there's some noise coming into your microphone, you have to adjust this value. So that's that. And so we did it one quite a while back. The other thing I was trying to do is taking a long video and summarize its contents. So we have this one of the earlier long streams. It's using this specific model, a Vosk model. It's let's leave this one for a sec. Pop this code in again to code interpreter. See what it says. Extract the video from file. So extracting audio from video file and transcribing using Vosk. Choice for offline transcription. Make sure you have the correct Vosk model. Small model for English. Okay, I don't know, maybe we could try a different model. First we could see how well is it doing and compare it actually to Google transcript as well, because I have a feeling we can do better than what YouTube does. So we generated this audio already, this WAV file. We had trouble running this code, so this should not run, so it should be quicker. Error handling. If you want to advance topic modeling, consider using latent allocation LDA on non-negative matrix. Extract topics from transcription. Okay, maybe we can try it later. We have an error there. There, event cutter indicates Vosk failed to initialize the model. Incorrect. It showed that the path model is the correct path to the Vosk model directory on your system. Okay. I don't know. It's not giving me the GitHub link for some reason. Put this on another screen. You can check my audio is okay. So when I install Flask, does it install the model as well? I think those requirements are already satisfied, so we already have that. No heavy applications. Library must output more detailed error. Don't think we have the model downloaded. Yes, let's go from here. The Flask API updated sometime earlier this year. Speech recognition. Does all these languages. Just need English. The voice model is small, only 50 megabyte. That's nice. But documentation, test example. Where is the model? Sorry. For pre-trained models, the readme will make me. I want to look for the English models. Hello, Rohan. How are you? Just looking for models online for this English transcription. Meant to be using this. What's going on? Using this, as in what's going on with me or what's going on with this video. I don't know what's going on with the video. We are doing some video editing using Python. And I know it's not as advertised. We're meant to be doing, going back to the Flask application. But we'll get to it in a sec. Let's just see. So we have this code, right? We have this long video we generated using those Flask and Spacey to extract audio, which we already did. We have the WAV file. Now, in theory, should be able to use this model to do transcription of the voice in video, which is mine, which is like an earlier live stream. And then it should also chunk the audio and produce the topics discussed. So you should, in theory, have like a timestamp topic. So hopefully we could use that for editing videos. In the previous, something I have on my GitHub, there is this code that allows you to process a long video and remove any silent bits. And it's actually works quite well. I was saying before, if your microphone has some noise in it, you'll have to modify this code to check for volume, not just being 0, but whatever it is, your microphone noise, a baseline noise being generated. So you'll have to go above that. Mine is actually 0 between my sentences. The noise level should go back to 0 because I'm using this NVIDIA broadcast fancy noise removal algorithm. So now I can actually check if I shut up for a second. The noise in the mic goes to 0. That's why this volume, this if checking the volume is above threshold, so a threshold of 0 works for me, but you might want to adjust that if you're trying to remove silent bits from your videos. And by the way, this code, the new code that I'm generating, if it's not on GitHub, it should be on my website. So this summarize, we had a ChatGPT generated earlier, sometime earlier today, and it extracts audio, transcribing, processing the transcript. We want to save the transcript, but what I'm having trouble with now is that it cannot find the model. It's using this Vosk small English model, and we trying to find it on GitHub or somewhere else, but I'm having trouble finding it. So this code doesn't work. So if we won't be able to do it in the coming 5-10 minutes or so, I have to give it a rest and move on probably to the Flask application that we were doing last week. It's processing, improvement. Yeah, we could do error handling. Yeah, it's telling me to ensure the path to the model, but I'm pretty sure I don't have the model. So I installed Vosk, and the models meant to be downloaded separately, I think. Right, so Vosk model, path to the model, and don't have this path. Where is it? Vosk model. What just happened? Oops. Right. And that's okay. Run the code again. How do I download the Vosk model small English? If it can fix that for me. Yeah, that's the problem with GPT-4 code interpreter, is that yes, this library was updated in the last couple of months. So obviously get the English again, get up download. Okay, so we have to go to the site. Right, that Vosk API, latest assets, SKU code. Try to okay, quick. Can I just download the model to know? Use your code. Yeah, might give it a rest if GPT can't solve it for us. I mean, we can try Bing or Bard in theory, there should be a way to download the model. It actually gave us code before in another chat. Maybe I think we will yeah, unless you want me to keep banging my head into this problem, might just move on to Flask application. We have this Flask application, web config, index HTML. Probably not working because I need to run Flask, but we will try it anyway. Open the live server. Okay, this is working, but the image is not there. We need to start the Flask app, and we do it by running this code. Make this smaller a bit. Right, and now the Flask application is over here, and it's actually working okay. I know it's very simple, but the good thing about it is actually running Flask. So it is a backend, front end, the whole lot, and it's sending those get and post requests. Which is great. This is exactly what we need, because we need to we need to it's funny how it would not remember. Yeah, this needs some improvement. Other thing is the structure of the whole, so that doesn't work. This works on port 5000, which is okay. Now, could pop this back into ChatGPT, because obviously this needs some improvement. The other thing is to understand how it interacts with the HTML, and if I call this index HTML from the live server, it will not work anymore. I'm thinking putting the whole, right, we have the plot is generated in the static folder. So if we go into the folder, FlaskViz, let's zip it. Call it Flask-viz. And start a new chat, ChatGPT, code interpreter, yes. Pop this into it. Open folder. Let's see if it has this Python code. Let's see if API. Would you like to brief? Would I like a brief overview? No, I don't need an overview. If I have specific action in mind, yes, I do. Well, first, I want to improve this bit's Control Shift Alt. I have to change this whole lot for it to actually remember. It's called function ID. This will be in the HTML. So in the HTML file, the function ID, I needed to remember the last choice of function. So we want this to actually change to what was selected. It shouldn't be too hard, should it? No, I don't like to implement. No, I don't want to implement the solution, but I need the code. So, yes, please implement the solution, but generate the code as text on the screen. So, might need some JavaScript code. No, I want the JavaScript separate. Yeah, working on what is it doing? Script. Generate the script, then commented it out. Data index HTML. No, I don't like to save it. I just need it all. Could you generate the JavaScript file and the updated index HTML? You're working on what it's doing. It's creating new JavaScript file. Yeah, I don't like it's mounting the results onto, yeah, letting you download it. Would you like to know? Yeah, just generate it on screen. I want to copy paste it. I don't want to download any file. Please generate the code on screen. I don't want to download any files. Right. This looks more like it. So we need a main JavaScript. What imagine will be in the main folder, not the static folder. Main.js. We already have a main.js. What? Okay. Can have a different. Must be a standard thing. It's just a script. We have this JavaScript file. And yes, we need to call the JavaScript file from HTML, index HTML. That can be done. Why it needs to be done at the end over here. That's okay. And this goes into the JavaScript. Get function. Now the other thing is, how does this thing actually gets updated? It doesn't, does it? So at the moment you have to restart the Flask application, which is not ideal. We can close this. I don't know why it also need to fix, so it works the first time around. So it didn't work. It's still reverting to the original, to default selection, which is the sinusoid. At the event list. Um, we did everything correctly. Create a JavaScript. It's using browser's local storage. No, upon page load? No, we don't need it upon page load. Upon page load, it can go to default. That's fine. Right, so I didn't actually understand. In addition to on page load, it doesn't save the parameters when regenerating the image. So it should remember the function that is used. So the function in the selector is the same as on the image. see what it gives. Just read it out loud because I'm losing my voice. Right, here's the updated. Keeps calling it main.js. Apparently I cannot have main.js in this folder. Index it, just make sure. Oh, so this file actually does meant to be in the static folder, and we need to rename it to main.js because that's what's being called. So rename. Right, that we also save the image every time we generate this thing. You can see if I generate this sun, so again it will change on my machine. I actually do control my machine when playing with this tool. Let's go back to main.js, and we meant to, well, first the thing wasn't working before at all. It should have given me an error. I thought I checked the F12 development tools and there was no errors there. I'm also not sure if every time I have to stop the Flask application and run it again. Let's use this one. Yeah, we always have to go to app. Yeah, this is what starts the Flask application. Generate the form. Sign. Right, so now it's working. That's great. That's great. That's not great. Just remember this. What? This now it's like, that's why I need to do more testing, don't you? Because now it's saving cosine as default. I'm pretty sure if I do Control F5, I submit the form. Yes, that's actually not an ideal solution. No, it's doing that again. Control F5, continue. I select sign, it should have remembered this sign. Okay, now it's bizarre. Okay, it's saving the form. Maybe because I had it open twice. Now it's now reverting to, so this is sine, but the display shows cosine. Okay, this is not ideal. This is not ideal. change it again. This code ensures that both the selected function and its frequencies are saved to the browser's local storage. Populates the form with the saved values. So it's saving okay for the first time, but when the value is changed, it should update the memory. I understand your concern. It's using Python to write JavaScript. And then actually giving me the JavaScript code. Right, so this modified update local storage. So it should be monitoring for every time I drop this menu. So now it should save the new one. So obviously it's not yet doing it. I have to restart my thing. What's happening with my stream? The stream okay? Yeah. Because on my phone it keeps just check on another device. It keeps trying to restart or also the sound is okay. But yeah, something's not quite right with this stream. I don't know what what is it. If we go live, we should see. Stream health poor. What? Why? Need to change the video resolution. Nah, I'm pretty sure it's fine. The other thing is just close Discord. Closing Discord. No, that didn't seem to help. Let me check. Performance, Wi-Fi. That should be. I should have plenty of headroom. Now this looks okay. Close that. A quick speed test. The upload. Upload is not right. Oh, I think I know. No. Stream is buffering a lot. Sorry for that. I should have enough upload speed as well. Would be better now, maybe. I think let's close this server. Is it the Flask application? I close the. Yes, now it doesn't seem to buffer as much. Whenever we test. The download is okay. Upload. It is where it starts buffering a lot, but that's during testing. Right. No, it's still buffering quite a bit. Now it looks much better. There was something I've because I closed too many things at once. Closed Discord, and I closed the live server. Yeah, I have to check everything after the stream. Might as well been already going for an hour. Might as well finish it now. I'll just say bye bye just in case something totally hits the fan. I'll just keep with going with this for a bit. We do want to get it right. Essentially, this is important because then all the applications on maybe someone was using the site. That's also an option. You can actually go and test that quickly. Right, there was some visits to the site, but I don't know. Yeah, some of those tools are heavier than others. Let's get back to this quickly while things still work more or less. Okay. It doesn't really work. Doesn't save the actual thing. It's saving something. Wait, Control F5. Yeah, so there's a form. Alright, can bring there. There's no icon, that's okay. It's actually not in the folder. So say sine 20 hertz. So it's doing it here, but it won't remember the settings there. Okay, this is frustrating. Oh, Now it does. So it's like it has a I was reverting now to cosine when you clear the form. Have any errors assigned? No, there are no errors. There are errors in there. Oh, the second error is okay. The first one is a bit odd. Document body insert before. Right, well, that must be it. Again, it's using Python to generate JavaScript. Corrected function, so they should say the same. It's getting the monitoring the drop down menu in here. Then if saved, sets the fields accordingly. Still has that insert before. That did change. The question is, when I do this, right, does work, there are no errors. To test some more. Sine, cosine. Right, it's working better, so it's able to fix the thing. So it's showing the same thing here and there, so that's great. That's a lot of progress. It's a damn function. Like to add can add more functionality or change the way it looks. We could make it look like a scope where the signal is actually moving along. like to add more functions like the signal to scroll on the screen automatically or using a scroller. We want to be able to inject a spike into the signal. We will also to have control over the amplitude. What would you recommend? Yeah, I would like scrollers here as well. Thing is, right, so when we refresh the page, it says the page you're looking at is this information entered. Returning the page might trigger repetition of any action. Right, so reloading the page actually saved the thing, the and Control F5 will clear everything, but doesn't go back to default. So I only just realized my ChatGPT, the sound of the bot is not going into the stream. This is what it meant to do.
Introduce a button that, when clicked, activates spike mode. In spike mode, clicking on the waveform graph will insert a spike at that point. The user can be provided with additional controls to adjust the width and height of the spike. Amplitude control. Introduce a slider that adjusts the amplitude of the waveform in real time. The backend will need to recompute the waveform based on the new amplitude and send it to the frontend for rendering. Incorporating these features will enhance the user experience, allowing for more detailed analysis and manipulation of the waveform. Would you like a mockup of the UI or more details on how to implement any specific part of this plan?
Why mockup? Can you just do it? You could just leave it overnight and it will keep running. Yeah, just proceed.
Extend the HTML interface. Add a slider for amplitude control. Add a button to activate spike mode and another slider to control spike height. Modify JavaScript. Update the JavaScript code to handle these new controls and their interactions. Update the Flask backend, if needed. Modify the Flask backend to handle the new parameters, spike position, spike height, amplitude, and generate the appropriate waveform. Let's start with the frontend changes to the index.html file. I'll add the new UI elements and then provide the associated JavaScript code for handling their functionality. Please note that without having the complete Flask backend code, I can only offer the front-end part in a complete manner.
Should have the backend.
Let's start with the front-end changes to the index.html file. I'll add the new UI elements and then provide the associated JavaScript code for handling their functionality.
Pretty sure you had this file. It's like it forgets about it. Generating looks like a CSS. So try to just stop generating. This is the Flask application that you said you don't have. You can hide that. Yeah, I don't know what's up with that. That's really annoying. It's like it's forgetting things. I don't want to reload it because I'm pretty sure it will forget all the context. Right, now it's back online.
You've provided the Flask backend code that handles the form submission, generates the waveform plot based on the selected function frequency, and then serves it to the front end. To incorporate the new features, amplitude control and spike injection, into the Flask app, we'll do the following. Extend the backend. Retrieve the amplitude from the form submission. Retrieve spike details if spike mode is activated from the form submission. Use these details to modify the waveform before plotting. Update the front end. I'll provide the JavaScript code to handle the spike mode and amplitude adjustments. Let's start with updating the backend. Add code to retrieve the amplitude from the form submission and adjust the waveform's amplitude. If spike mode is activated, insert a spike at the specified location in the waveform. For simplicity, we'll add the spike at the midpoint of the x-axis for now.
I don't know when it's making these changes. No, that's okay because it's writing. It's just writing code. But sometimes it's also trying to execute it on the OpenAI server. To know why.
I've made the necessary updates to the Flask backend code to handle amplitude adjustments and spike injection. Here's the updated code.
Right, so it's adjusted the Flask app. We can create, just pop in a copy. So we have the earlier version. Pop this in. Save.
Changes I made are: retrieval of amplitude from the form submission. Retrieval of spike height from the form submission. Adjusting the waveform's amplitude based on the retrieved value. Injecting a spike in the waveform at the midpoint of the x-axis if a spike height is specified. Next, I'll provide the JavaScript code to handle the Activate Spike Mode button and the amplitude slider. This will allow users to interact with the spike injection and amplitude adjustment functionalities on the front end.
Haven't changed anything. I still don't know if I need to restart the Flask application. I thought there was some sort of code that actually allows you be in some sort of debugging mode. So when you make changes, they're being reflected live.
Let's start by enhancing the JavaScript to handle the new front-end features. Handle spike mode activation. When the Activate Spike Mode button is clicked, we'll enable the user to click on the waveform graph to specify where the spike should be added. For simplicity and due to the limitations of our current setup, we won't implement the exact positioning of the spike on the graph. Instead, we'll just indicate that a spike has been activated and use the midpoint of the x-axis, as specified in the backend code, as the spike position.
What?
For simplicity and due to the limitations of our current setup, we won't implement the exact positioning of the spike on the graph. Instead, we'll just indicate that a spike has been activated and use the midpoint of the x-axis, as specified in the backend code, as the spike position. Handle amplitude adjustments. When the amplitude slider is moved, we'll dynamically display the current amplitude value to the user. Let's write the update.
It's fine because here it's actually generated the JavaScript code already, but over here it's typing it as if it wasn't already generated. That's a bit odd. Yeah, again, it's very odd. It's already been written here with spike height slider as the last line of code. That's pretending to generate it on the screen, which is a bit odd. Why not just speed it out?
This code does the following. Dynamically displays the amplitude value next to the amplitude slider. Allows for the activation and deactivation of spike mode using the Activate Spike Mode button. Note, the exact positioning of the spike on the graph is handled by the backend, and for now, it's added at the midpoint of the x-axis. Saves the current selections to local storage whenever there's a change. You can integrate this JavaScript code into your main.js file. Once done with the provided front-end and backend changes, you should have an enhanced visualization tool with amplitude control and spike injection features. Let me know if you need further modifications or if there's anything else I can assist with. Regenerate. ChatGPT may produce inaccurate information about people, places, or facts. ChatGPT August 3rd version.
Don't we need a new HTML? Do we need a new HTML? Yes, of course we do. Let's keep the copy of the old thing.
Code interpreter. Since we introduced new UI elements, the amplitude slider and the spike injection controls, the index.html content has been updated. I'll provide you with the updated index.html content below, which you can replace in your project. This updated HTML will work in conjunction with the provided JavaScript and backend changes. Finished working. Show work. Here's the updated index.html content, which includes the new UI elements. HTML. Copy code. Type HTML lang. Flask-based, data visualization with Flask /h1 form action equals / method equals post label for equals function, choose a function /label. You can replace the content of your current index.html file with this updated code. This HTML is designed to work in conjunction with the provided JavaScript and Flask backend code. Once you've made these changes, you should see the new controls on the web page, and you should be able to adjust the amplitude and activate the spike mode. Regenerate. ChatGPT may produce inaccurate information about people, places, or facts. ChatGPT August 3rd version.
This is interesting. First, I have an error. Let's just make sure we copied the right thing. Should have frequency button, spike mode button. No, still form elements. The dog still don't know if I need to restart the Flask application or not. Lost it for a sec. Right, so we did have to restart it. What the earth? It's spike mode. Well, yeah, obviously this is just a demo, but a prototype. But we have something very useful where we have a sinusoid and a spike overlaid there in the middle. That's handy. Just ask, how do I put the Flask application in development mode where when changes are made, they're being reflected live? Question, I don't know what to put a full stop, that's okay. I think there's some sort of line of code. No, I don't wanna forward Flask.
Code interpreter. Flask-based.zip. Open the fold. ChatGPT. I see that you've uploaded a file named Flask. To put the Flask application in development mode and enable live reloading when changes are made to the code, you'll need to set the Flask_env environment variable to development and enable the debug mode in Flask. Here's how you can do it. Using environment variables, before running your Flask application, set the environment variables in your terminal or command prompt. For Windows command prompt. Bash. Copy code. For Windows PowerShell. You can also enable debug mode directly in your code by setting the debug attribute of the Flask app object to true. Python. When the Flask app is in development mode with debug equals true, the server will automatically reload upon code changes. You'll also get more detailed error messages in the browser when errors occur, which can be helpful during development. Caution, it's important to note that you should never use debug equals true in a production environment, as it can expose sensitive information and allow the execution of arbitrary code. Always ensure that debug mode is turned off when deploying your application in a production setting.
Right. And I assume this code goes in the beginning somewhere. No, of course not. It goes after this line. We have cosine 33 plot. Cos 33. Oh, it keeps reverting. So yeah, that's the other thing with code interpreter, is that it will fix one thing, which is great, but then stuff up something else. Still haven't. I'll make sure. We don't have title and things. That's why the values are not being saved in the browser. Maybe.
The warning you're seeing pertains to accessibility best practices. Each form control, like an input or select element, should have a corresponding label to describe its purpose. This is especially important for screen readers and other assistive technologies. To address this, you should ensure each form control has an associated labeled element. The label should use the for attribute to reference the ID of the form control. If a form control doesn't have a visual label, perhaps it's evident from the UI context, then you should either use the
That's fine. We do care a lot about assistive technologies, and we want our website to be accessible as well, but might, well, can get rid of those copies. Might as well. Yeah, because the other variables do have a label. This one doesn't. Frequency, type, number, value 10, step. Step should be 1. That was okay. Then we have button, meant to bike. Have had the label after this. Okay.
These changes will improve the accessibility of your web page, making it more user-friendly for individuals who rely on assistive technologies like screen readers. Replace the content of your index.html file with this updated code to apply the changes.
Well, it's not the full code, so I can't actually do it and seem to have made a mistake. The other thing is that the JavaScript is stopped working. Do I get an error for that? No. Let's restart the app. Now we should have the we should be in debugging mode. Close this for a sec. Bug is active. And it's not working at all. What? Give me this error. Something went sour. Might finish it. We made quite a lot of progress with this one. Okay, we need the method. It's in HTML, is it? There is a viewport. Yeah. It's already there. What are you talking about? It's already there. Seem to be like forgetting the earlier code. So it's really hard to progress. I've probably been doing this for too long.
Thank you for sharing the updated index.html content. You've correctly added the viewport meta tag and made some slight modifications to the form elements. This HTML structure appears to be in line with best practices for web accessibility and responsive design. Do you have any further questions or modifications you'd like assistance with?
No, first we still should have picked up that error. But we'll address it in a bit. The other thing is this thing stopped working. The local storage. Would be nice. Get it fixed. It's not picking up on any errors.
The code you provided is the Flask backend for your visualization application. However, there are a couple of issues to address. Duplicate if underscore underscore name underscore underscore equals equals underscore underscore main underscore underscore blocks. The code contains two instances of if underscore underscore name underscore underscore equals equals underscore underscore main underscore app run. This block of code is meant to run the Flask app when the script is executed directly. You should have only one such block in your script. Ordering of functions and blocks. In Python, the order of function definitions and code execution matters. The app root forward.
Right. So that placement was incorrect. Probably should have placed it at the end. Right. I already had it at the end. And it corrected something else. Ordering the get and post. Right. It made the change. So it's running. keeps reverting. Doesn't work. 33 cos. It's not remembering the values as it used to before to put the JavaScript back. This JavaScript should monitor every time you change these values, and they should be stored in the browser memory. So when you refresh the page or and keep changing them, it should just remember the last value. It should be doing it at least for the function and the frequency. Later we'll add it for the other parameters. We also want to automatically scale this window, so the amplitude there and the maximum value should be 10. The value should be 10. So it's not saving the values in the browser. We would like for all the values to be saved in the browser, and also change the amplitude maximum to be 10, which is the maximum of the y-axis on the chart. That will be last thing we will do. Made quite a bit of progress. Eventually want to rewrite all these applications into Python. Currently they written in LabVIEW. So wish us luck. Let me know if you would like to help collaborate. Or any questions?
Ensure that all values are saved in the browser's local storage and retrieve them properly. Let's address the issue step by step. Ensure saving on form submission. Currently, the save to local storage function is triggered by individual input changes. To ensure all values are saved when the user submits the form, we should also bind the save to local storage function to the form submit event. Amplitude maximum. We'll adjust the amplitude slider's maximum value to 10.
So it's, yeah, using Python. I don't know why it's not actually Python, it's just writing JavaScript. And then pretending to write it again. Don't get it. It's a bit of a mystery how it all works. But it's generating a working code, which is pretty amazing, without too many hallucinations. They changed the JavaScript. if this change is taking effect straight away. No. It does not.
Added the form element to the list of retrieved elements and added an event listener to save all form values to local storage upon submission. Adjusted the amplitude slider's maximum value to 10. Please replace your existing JavaScript code with this adjusted version and test it to ensure that all values are saved and retrieved correctly. Regenerate. ChatGPT may form element to the list of retrieved.
Control F5. No, that's not right. Let's stop it for a sec. Run it again. It's not saving. Still no labels. Amplitude, this should be 10 should be maximum. No errors, not not working. Pages. Copy. Close this one. It got reloaded on save because replot. No. Oops. So the values for the selector elements are not saved in the browser. Double check that.
Apologies for the oversight. Let's troubleshoot and fix the issue with saving the selector's values to the browser's local storage. One possible reason for the issue could be that the form is submitted before the save to local storage function is executed, causing the page to refresh before the values are saved. To ensure the values are saved before form submission, we can prevent the form's default submission behavior, save the values to local storage, and then submit the form programmatically. Here's how we can modify the JavaScript code to achieve this.
Back in a sec.
The main adjustment is at the bottom. We've overridden the form's default submission behavior to save the values to local storage before the form is submitted programmatically. This ensures that the values are saved in the browser's local storage before the page is refreshed. Replace your existing JavaScript code with this adjusted version and test the functionality to ensure the selector values are saved and retrieved correctly.
That's why it's like the GPT is the architect and I'm the tester. But that's okay, because I couldn't have done any of it myself. So did this. Still trying to figure out. No. If I save this, it reloads. Take the change and reloads. Do I need to load the browser as well? I don't know. Oh, come on. Yeah, we'll keep going probably tomorrow. So see you next time. Bye.